I'm John Dempsey. I'm the co-lyricist for the Pirate Queen. And we are about 1 week out from the opening in Chicago, and there are an enormous amount of changes that have already happened and an enormous amount of changes still to happen before we hit the opening. It used to be that shows got rewritten from stem to stern while they were out of town. It's a lot harder to do that these days for a number of reasons. One are the various unions, the amount of hours that you can rehearse with actors. Also, because tech is such a difficult thing in shows these days, automation and computers and lights and everything else, all the changes that you make have to be re-teched. So you're really limited as to how many changes you can put in. For example, two of the big challenges that we found pretty much from preview one was clarifying the love triangle between Grania, Donal, and Tiernan, and also clarifying the English court scenes. In the case of the first, the love triangle, what it really boiled down to for us was the song "The Choice Is Yours," which is when Grania is given this choice of does she stay with the man she loves or does she marry this other clansman to politically unite her country. And we took that song and we wrote many new lyrics for it. There was a new section of music that was just put in yesterday, actually. And what it does is it clarifies Grania's decision. Intellectually, I think the audience always understood why she was doing what she was doing. It was her duty to her land, but it had to be put in much more passionate terms, and at the same time passionate but simple. And so we simplified the language. It's less poetic now. It's more direct. We cut right to the chase of Grania's emotions. And the music, the new bit of music sort of spells out her inner turmoil, and that section now is working quite well, I think. In the case of the English court, what we found really helped were little bits of dialogue. So it wasn't even rewriting lyrics per se, although there was some of that, but we rewrote little bits of dialogue because the tone of the English court just seemed to call for it. I'm not sure why, but it did, and the audience is responding quite well to that now. There is one of the great challenges in a show like this, in a period piece, in a very serious period piece like this, is that you can't really write it in the language of the period. That wouldn't work for an audience, but nor can you use modern slang. So you have to create a vocabulary that's very timeless. And it's very simple, it's very difficult because it has to be very simple to hit the audience's ears correctly. There's also the added burden that with music like this that soars, you need open vowel sounds. Closed, pinched sounds just don't work with this sort of music. So you have a lot of limitations, but it's the limitations, of course, that make it fun. When Alan and I were first working on the lyrics in London, there was a tendency to go for things that were very beautiful and lovely and poetic. And when you get it in front of an audience, you realize sometimes that just doesn't work. And you have to simplify. And you have to express your idea in the clearest terms possible.